according to some studies we've seen, and according to Robert Heider, the housing director, he says that in recent years, he's seen roommate problems, requests to cancel housing contracts, requests to switch roommates has actually decreased, has increased, excuse me, because he believes that it's because of a sort of a social shift away from, when people came to college in the 60s and 70s, they were used to sharing rooms with their brothers, or they're used to, getting along, compromising. But we don't really do that as much anymore as a society. And we believe that it's time for Purdue to sort of move into the 21st century. People are becoming more independent, and it's sort of important that we try to cater to the needs of the majority. And, I mean, yes, that is a positive example, but there are a lot of negative examples, and they're an increasing trend. And so we're trying to counter that. That was the goal of our proposal. Does that answer your question? Okay, next. Yes?
If there was, through the computer system, there was, one particular student that was picked multiple times, or, if we did, a Facebook type thing, if one student was picked multiple times, who would be the ultimate decider?
Well, I mean, obviously there are going to be overlaps. Even with an extended, multiple choice questionnaire. And while that is a problem, I know a committee can sit down and be like, okay, they can go over and they can match that, and because obviously that won't happen that much, and that's something that can be hand done.
Well, and don't forget, we're not using a Facebook system where people are vying for the attention of their peers. It is a computer matchmaking system, so those overlaps are handled by the computer in its programming, and they're sorted out by the computer. Just like in the same way that if the computer finds two people who answer the 5 questions that are asked now are compatible, if there's an overlap there, the computer sorts that out. This is just an expansion on that, so the computer will just sort that out. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
My name is Matt. How would you guys talked about making 25 questions? Who would exactly do that?
Oh, well, for example, the sociology department, the psychology department, experts who know what it is exactly that makes two people compatible to exist, coexist together successfully. We obviously don't. We lack the expertise to do that. So we're relying on what Purdue has available. Yes.
Okay, so kind of to go back to my old question that I already asked. I'm sorry, Steve. So, like I said, opposites attract. It's kind of a part of growing up. And isn't it also a part of life to, be willing to accommodate somebody and to know how to do that? I mean, if you're matched up with somebody that's your perfect match, what's going to happen when you go into real life and you don't know how to accommodate somebody and you're just constantly thinking of yourself? Well,
and we thought about that, and that's what the traditional college system sort of focuses on. But we don't really believe it's the place of the university to tell us, hey, this is how you have to live your life, this is how you have to compromise. I mean, it's great to try to teach those lessons, but when those start to conflict with, grade point averages, performance, even, dropout rates, we don't believe that it's a necessary, or it's a really a logical trade-off to sacrifice this, this GPA and this effectiveness of the student just to teach a lesson. It seems almost like a cruel dilemma that I don't think it's the university's place to put these people in.
You said that it's not the university's place to put them in the situation, but if they would select somebody that wouldn't cooperate with each other, they would still be doing the same thing. So you'd have the same problem with your solution.
Yeah, but we're just trying to help, and improve it, so maybe we can cut down on the people that, don't like each other, the statistics for that. We're just trying to lower that and make the first year of college or living in the dorm a lot more enjoyable for students.
And I mean, no system will be perfect, but we do believe that our system will be a lot more perfect than the current one.
And also, think of it as a bell curve. Right now, with the 5 questions, there's almost an equal amount between kids who are dissatisfied, kids who are satisfied, and kids who are really satisfied. With this longer questionnaire, you're going to have less outliers of kids who are dissatisfied, more who are satisfied, and then possibly that'd be even shifted over to those who are like really satisfied. So that's really what this program do. It really decreased the amount of kids who are dissatisfied with their roommates. Yes.
A lot of my friends go to some of the universities that you mentioned in your presentation, and they still have, and you said that those universities have a superior matching system to the one that we have, but my friends still have roommate issues. So don't you think it's more on the attitudes of people?
I mean, nothing's gonna be perfect. So there's always gonna be like the one or the group of people that don't get along as roommates and stuff. So, like we said, we're not trying to make it perfect where everyone in the whole housing department love each other and stuff. We're just trying to, make the first year and living in the dorm a lot less stressful, a lot more enjoyable for kids.
And I mean, we can't, address every outlier, every issue, squabble that might come up between two roommates. We were just looking at the data, some of the numbers, and we wanted to try to improve on that. Oh, right. Sorry, Chad.
Hi, my name's Chad. You guys are talking about like the budget. You'd be spending pretty much all the money on a processor. Do you know for sure that the processor they have right now doesn't work or wouldn't work for 25 questions?
Actually, Robert Hyder stated that if we were to add more questions, the computer would not be able to handle that, and that they would need a more updated version.
Actually, I found an online survey system
Yep.
called Survey Monkey. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's pretty much a free one. It lets you do all these surveys, up to 10 questions and 100 people is free. Then you have to pay for it, which is not that much as well. It does all of that for you.
Well, it is a free service, but when I was in high school, I was interning at a art organization, and we try to use that service as a corporation. But what they said is that they will give the service out free for individuals, but not for the organizations.
And Purdue's actually already purchased a survey system. A lot of these can be very expensive. However, Purdue's already spent the money to acquire it, and they already have the rights to it. So all we would be doing is just modifying it.
Right, but what doesn't make sense to me about your responses is that Purdue's system, I think it's called Qualtrics.
Yeah, Qualtrics.
Yeah, it does all of this as it is. And why are you assuming you need to buy a new computer to process this?
Oh, because when we have the more questions we have, when we put that into our computer, it'll it takes, because sort of like as you use more questions, you use more processing power. So it's going to take longer for the computer to sort through all of this. Basically, we're increasing the pool of data available, so it's going to have to take longer to sort through all of that. So we need to improve on the school computer as it exists now, so that we can still make all the roommate matchups on time, but adhering to the new criteria that we're proposing.
What's the rush for time?
Well,
They have to have it over the summer. So either we have to is it March 1st, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, March 1st right now is the deadline for housing applications. They would have to move that even into February, when kids are still getting decisions back from other colleges, and that would really put a rush on students as to whether they wanted to go to Purdue or not. And with this faster processor, they would still be able to keep that March 1st deadline and have this extended questionnaire, and it would be done in the same amount of time.
Isn't there some probably other computer on campus that they could use for that? Because I'm sure they do way more difficult things at Purdue. So I'm sure there'd be a computer they could find to put it on there instead of needing to spend $2,300 on buying a processor.
Well, we're assuming that we're working only with the Resident Hall Association, so we have to sort of go through their channels, their equipment, their director, their programming. So we felt like it would be more of a hassle to try to hunt down one of these computers that's used for scientific experiments and try to get the permission, try to get the program changes, rather than just sort of using the money to update a system so that this will be a permanent solution. Because if the Resident Hall Association has to keep going to, let's say, the physics department, asking for one of their supercomputers every time they need to sort together or put together housing matchups, it's going to be, in the long run, it's going to be much more of a hassle, much more red tape, much more paperwork than if we just make this improvement now and we can use this for the foreseeable future.
You've stated why it's good for the students, but why would it benefit Purdue University to give you the money?
I mean, like I said earlier, it's going to really make us look like a better university, and that we care about our students more, and that it's going to make it, and that it's going to be a deciding factor for kids, and with that, probably more students will apply too, and it's going to make us look, you know, like we're more
Karen.
yeah, caring, and that we're more like a more demanding school, or a more demanded school by students. And with that, it's just going to make us look better overall.
And you also have to keep in mind the financial benefits. When we cut down on roommate switches and canceled housing contracts, that cuts down on the, because, you know, a canceled housing contract, was it 60%?
Yes.
60% of that money is paid by the students. So the university absorbs a loss. And there's a loss in paperwork and efficiency of the resident hall association workers. So over time, this should pay for itself in the efficiency of the process.
And also, you keep the students happy. I mean, if I don't like a university or whatnot, if I'm not happy here, I'd want to transfer and go somewhere else. So.
You transfer just because your roommate pees?
Well, I mean, that
It's one of many factors.
I don't want my stuff just reeking and all my stuff in my room smell of pee, or I don't want my roommate trying to keep me out of my room, which he might also try to kill me one night.
I mean, we're not, that's another story that we omitted. But now remember, we're not trying to present the false dilemma of you either like your roommate or you drop out of Purdue University. That's not what we're presenting at all. We're just trying to show the effects that a negative roommate experience can have on your college experience as a whole. Now, a bad roommate may not cause you to drop out of college, but a low GPA or a nervous breakdown might actually cause you to drop out of school. And that's just one of many contributing factors that we don't believe students need to deal with.
Also, Purdue University not only lose 40% of the contract, but if one student has good experience in the dorm, then they're more likely to come back next year for living in dorm. But if they have a bad experience, they're gonna move on and not come back.
Steve, when you guys were going over your stories, and then when you went over your questions, like questions that Purdue asked their roommates, it kind of seemed like a lot of your problems could have, like, theoretically have been dealt with by those questions. So I guess I just don't get how adding more questions would like fix any problems. If the old questions can't even fix the problems that you have.
The questions that they have are just kind of general questions and stuff. The ones we want make more like, it makes it more personal. So you're pretty much, you have a better chance of rooming with a good friend of yours. And I mean, if a good friend probably won't like shut the door and try to keep you out and stuff.
And also, we have to remember that these questions are based on personality. So let's say we have a very sloppy, aggressive person. They're going to be presented, or they're going to be probably paired up with another sort of sloppy, aggressive person. So yes, we'll have a messy room, but both parties won't really seem to care much. And if they're both aggressive, that will prevent, like, these two, their personalities will match. So they'll be able to counter each other and sort of balance each other out in the sense that